Greetings and welcome to the Thirsty Mage, the podcast that's flying high thanks to some special mushrooms. I'm your host for this episode, David Lloyd, and no, we're not on drugs here. We're flying on the natural high of once again talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm pretty sure in the last episode that we posted that I mentioned that we will not be talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for a few weeks, but thanks to some rearranging of episodes and the timing of certain things, we are here and we're back again with another episode, another region. We're up to the Gongaga region now, and we'll be talking about the moment we cross the river in our buggy up until we meet Sid for the first time. And joining me once again is the Chief Arbiter of Fate himself, Casey Gibson.
I must say that was, I think, maybe your best intro of all time. That was beautiful with the mushrooms and everything. Just chef's kiss, you know. But I will say those mushrooms were super annoying, and I hated them.
Yes. I had the hardest time finding. So there's one. I know we'll get into it in a bit, but since you brought it up, there's one of the towers. One of the Remna Wave towers was on like this island, like little rock island, so you couldn't actually walk up to it. There was only like one mushroom that would send you there, and I could not for the life of me find that damn mushroom.
You're bouncing around like an idiot for an hour, like, ugh.
Oh, I got to the point where I'm like, am I gonna have to watch a walkthrough for this? Because this seems ridiculous. It's like the last thing I need to do in the region is find this stinking wave tower.
Yeah, I will say, and like, I guess we'll, be breaking it down as we've been doing with each region, but this is the first one I actually like hit a point where I was like, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'll come back and finish up.
Yeah.
And granted, I just had the proto relic quests, and currently I think I have one enemy intel and maybe one other like spot to hit, and then I'll be done with the region. But I did move on and doubled back.
Yeah, it was a fun region. It's
beautiful. I will say, like to double back, I guess, not to say it was all bad. It was one, like, when I first got into the region, I was definitely like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. The verticality is really cool. I mean, I think it ultimately ends up being frustrating, the verticality and bouncing around and trying to find your way.
Yeah.
But it's definitely different than the other regions. And like, I felt that when I got there, and I appreciated it. And I think just maybe trying to get every node on the map was what sort of, burnt me out of in there. So like going back, I haven't been as bad. So maybe it was just one of those things to move on and come back. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine you probably got to be getting close to 40 hours now if you haven't already passed that.
Oh, yeah. I'm at 57 or 58, I think.
Yeah. When you get into that point, 100% in every region definitely gets harder for each new region. So
yeah, and you know what? It's one of those things, like, and I think we've sort of probably hit on this every single episode, is that like I'm just enjoying and soaking up every second of this game. Normally I'm not a side quests guy, or if I am, I dabble, definitely not like let's get all of them. And I will say, I think it also does help that each region only really has a handful of side quests. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do, right? I guess you can consider the proto relic is pretty much a long side quest chain, but there between the things to do, like there's only 4 side quests, quote unquote, and it makes it feel pretty manageable, especially when you're doing those side quests and like also finding, the other things sort of naturally as you're doing them. Makes it, I got 2 birds with 1 stone there,
Yeah. Well, as someone who's finished the game and is in a deep depression because he can't play it anymore, my best advice would be to enjoy every minute of it. It becomes like you feel like you want to get to the end and you want to see what happens as you get closer and closer, but then when reality hits and you realize you've got no game left, it's like a punch to the gut, let me tell you.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I guess I have one more zone and then I'm done, right? There's or maybe 2.
Yeah, I guess it's one more because there's
Well, we're
because you're done Cosmo Canyon, which is the next
yes.
region after. So yeah, there'll be one more region, and then
Then the
the
end
entire
game
map
stuff,
kind of
right? Yeah.
opens up, and some new things open up, and but then yeah, you'll go to the north. I don't. It's not a region though. Like it's pretty much like the end game, I guess.
Yeah, it's not going to be like, I'm spending 15 hours collecting stuff.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
It's a pretty size. It's 15 hours fighting the final boss. Is what it felt like, but I couldn't like. We'll get to that eventually, I guess. But yeah, I can't wait to that for that episode because it's one of the wildest experiences I've had in a long time. So
Ooh, yeah, it stinks. This last week has been so busy. I actually just like today we record on Wednesday. I haven't gotten to play since Sunday.
oof,
A little bit of Sunday in the morning, and yeah, and then it was like just a hectic week.
yeah.
So mostly good stuff. So not you know what I mean. But just so it was good today. I had off, and I played so much today, dude. It was glorious. It was one of those days where I probably put in at least six plus.
Oh, the perfect day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones when you have, and you're like, man, we should be doing this 5 days a week, not going to work.
That's right. Well, before we jump right into it, I guess I haven't. I felt like I haven't done a plug in a while, so I'm just gonna plug the Discord channel. So we do have a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth channel open for people who are listening and want to talk to other people who are playing the game. We've got a wide arrangement, wide assortment of people in different areas. I know we've got some people who are just kind of completing the regions that we're talking about now. We've got others like me who finished the game. So it's a great place to discuss the game with others. You can share moments that you find amusing, or you can ask for help or whatever you want. It's all good. And we do, in fact, talk about other things besides Final Fantasy, as surprising as that might sound.
Are you sure? Are you lying?
Sometimes, now and then, now and then. So yeah, we got a great Discord channel, great community. So if you're listening, new listener or anything like that, or if you haven't, it's a great place to jump into Discord for the first time too, if you haven't tried it before. So yeah, you can find the Discord channel on thethirstymage.com and on our website, as well as the Patreon. So if you would like to help support our little niche of a podcast here, you can head over there, and it'll help us cover costs like the recording software and the hosting fees and that sort of thing. So, and for your support, we also provide you with episodes a week in advance, and we also have we've got our monthly show back on where it's only available to Patreon subscribers. So there's a few in there so far. We just got a new one in last month. We should have one coming up soon for April. So yeah, that's the great time to jump into the Patreon. So again, that's patreon.com/thethirstymage, or you can just go to thethirstymage.com and there's a link below. But yeah, let's get into the region. So Gongaga is a very, very fun region. So it's funny too, because it picks up after one of the more emotional sequences in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, shortly after the meeting with Dyne. That's a hefty sequence there, and we get the buggy, which gives us the
baby.
access. That buggy is hilarious, man.
I love the buggy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this game's really got a lot of fun ways of transportation, and they only get sort of cooler as you get in the game. But that buggy is dope, dude.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we have to leave our buggy at the shore when we get to Gongaga, because, like you said, there's a whole lot of verticality in this one. Once you start getting in, you're going up and down ropes, and you're jumping. Once you've found the chocobo, you're jumping off of mushrooms and bouncing around all over the place. But the thing that stood out for me most, so this is like the jungle theme of the game.
Yep.
We've had like a beach, we've had a desert, we've had
hitting all the spots.
We've hit all the spots where we've made it to the jungle. But on top of that, I find the music the music of this area might be like the most, I don't know if unique, but the one that stands out the most to me, I think, is the music playing in this region.
Yeah, it's. I mean, honestly, the music's really good everywhere,
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, I feel like the zone is just so. It feels so different than any other one you really been in beforehand. That yeah, if the music being unique to go along with that too makes sense. I, I'm trying to think like what I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm lost.
I'm
Where are we
trying
going,
to.
Dave?
It's funny, like I'm trying to even think of how to describe the music. It's kind of, I
Well,
don't know.
you
There's
could
like
probably
people.
chop some in. Oh, well, I guess we don't have it queued up, right?
No.
I
No.
forgot you use the fancy editing nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. I let the AI do it. Well, here. That's not it, by the way. But uh, when we need the music, it's at a buttons press. But yeah, maybe I'll try to work it in here because yeah, it's really good. I'll put it in the background. I still have some control over the editing process, but
Nope, AI's got full autonomy.
yeah, it's gonna kick out anything I try to do.
It just replaces you. Actually, like the AI jumps on, starts posting.
This is yeah. The AI has been doing my voice the entire time. Nobody's caught on yet. Yeah, I guess and it's funny too because Gongaga is almost, it's really like two main areas. There's like the village and the reactor, and so when you first enter Gongaga, you're kind of walking through the jungle, and you'll eventually get to kind of the center of the jungle where the village is. And I leapt out of my chair when I saw Cesne. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
couldn't believe
dude!
it.
How funny is that? Like, I love that. Obviously that like the Final Fantasy VII universe has is expanded, right? Like, so it's cool that they're bringing in characters that are have pretty pivotal roles in other games, and giving them a spot to shine here in Rebirth.
Yeah, and it's because I just played Reunion, Crisis Core Reunion. Oh man, I guess it was a year ago now.
Yeah, around Christmas time it came out.
Yeah, and I really love that. It's funny because I'm curious if they're gonna go with Reunion as the name of the third one after they've already used the name for Crisis Core. I
Yeah, that
don't
would be
know.
interesting. I guess enough time would have passed, maybe, that they could get away with it.
Maybe, but
Yeah, reunion,
because there was so much time. Well, I guess I can't.
resurrection.
I was gonna say something there, but we'll leave it for a later episode. But yeah, it's just it's funny. We'll see. But there's so many callbacks to Crisis Core in this village because not only that, we run into there's a lot of talk because this is where Zach Fair, the village he's from, is Gongaga, and we find that out because we run into Zach's parents, or more specifically, Aerith runs into Zach's
Yeah, isn't
parents.
that wild? Yeah.
Now, is that, I know you had told me because you're really gunning for that Tifa date in Gold Saucer in Chapter 12, and I know you had sabotaged something. And is this the Aerith moment that you sabotaged to get on her bad books for just a brief moment?
I'm trying to think what I would. No, it was the one when she was given a speech, and like,
Oh, in Cosmo?
right? I think that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and then like you're like you can encourage her or something, and like I was like, why don't you just stop?
Because
But
this was
there was
another
another
opportunity to
part
do that.
though. I took a picture of her, and I think that was a bad thing.
Oh yeah,
I was
that's
like,
also
oh,
Cosmo. Yeah,
I should do this, but oh, I did it, and then
yeah.
God,
No, you'll be
I'm
okay
sorry.
because I
I'm
did it
sorry,
and I still
Tifa.
got Tifa. So
Oh, okay. Whew.
yeah, but it
God,
was funny
yeah.
because this was a moment where I thought about it for a minute. I was So what happens is Aerith goes in and talks to Zach's parents, and Aerith knows that Zach has died or believes it or whatever, but she doesn't want to tell the parents what happened. So I think she just kind of leaves it open that, we'll figure it out. And at this point, Cloud still doesn't remember Zack. Like
Hmm.
there's I don't remember if the game actually explains why, if it was like a whisper thing where they took the memory, or it's just like the Mako poisoning from when he was saved or whatever. But he doesn't. Cloud doesn't remember Zack because Aerith actually talks about him, and Cloud was like, "Well, if he was a soldier, then he's probably dead," which
Yeah.
which is kind of funny. But there is a point where Aerith like tells a lie to the parents to make them feel better, and when they leave the hut that they're in, she kind of questions it, and you have the opportunity to like chew her out for it or back her up. And I was so close to chewing her out. I had my thumb on the button,
The
and
worst is with the timers, dude.
oh, I know it.
The ones that's like you've got 2 seconds to decide. It's like, which one's gonna get me the Tifa date?
Yeah.
Like
But I also feel bad if I was like chewing her out because I'm like, well,
she's just
I
being
don't.
nice,
It's
yeah.
not that I don't like Aerith.
Yeah,
I don't want to
you know,
make her
I just
feel
don't
bad.
like her as much.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, that is funny. I can't remember if I did that or not. I feel like I might have grappled with a similar internal battle.
Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty cool because from the original game, I don't remember a ton from Gongaga, but I'm pretty sure it was only like one, maybe two screens at most in the original game.
I know, dude. Like that is definitely, and it makes sense, obviously, right? Like
Yeah,
that things are going to be so vastly expanded. But like, I think that what stands out most to me is just how populated the world is, because all these zones, right? You go to, and it's like, oh, like in the original, and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm at Junon, and it's like, oh, there's like 3 people in under Junon,
yeah,
and like a built like one house, and then you go there, and it's like bumbling and full of people, and then especially like when you're running through town and you can just hear everyone chattering and the boxes all pop up. To me, like that's what I feel like is like really stands out the most. But yeah, because it's like I was trying to think of Gongaga, and like there's been like plenty of times I just like Google, all right, let me like see what this was looking like in the original, and yeah, it's like, oh, here's Gongaga. There's like 5 little huts,
yeah.
you know,
You probably can't go in any of them.
yeah, exactly, and like
Yeah,
a few tombstones, and then yeah, now it's like this big, huge, expanded area. It's really unbelievable.
yeah. And yeah, so Cesne is. I don't think she's like the leader, but she's definitely like the protector, I guess. Like she's kind of there making sure that the village is safe. She's got like a little team of recruits that are keeping the fiends at bay, sort of thing. And if I remember correctly, too, the reactor in Gongaga was an optional area in the original game. I'm pretty sure. Like I don't even think there's much in the reactor. I think like you go there and there might be like one item or something that you can collect in there, but it's just like a hollowed out like one again
Yeah,
one
one
screen thing.
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say this reactor plays a bit bit bigger part of the story here.
Oh yeah, like this is kind of where the story starts to really unfold because we're getting like they really let loose on the story. Like you get bits and pieces here and there as you're going, but I feel like this is like kind of the moment where things really took a turn because we get so what happens is they actually split up the party and you don't
I,
get
I
to choose
like
who.
I like that a lot actually.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, well, sorry, I don't continue.
Oh no, I agree because I wasn't really using Barrett or Red much at this point. So to be forced to use to go with like I think the first party was Barrett and Kate, and I can't remember if Red stays with the. No, Red comes with us too because I remember it was Barrett and Red that was in my party.
Yeah, I think I think it's the boys and the girls essentially.
Yeah,
I think
because
it's
Yuffie's the one that stays back with Aerith and Tifa.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty sure it's literally boys and girls, and then like yeah, the guys run in, and then they sort of get into a pickle, and then
Yeah,
you switch out, and then yeah, then you're playing as Tifa, and then yeah, you sort of you get the grappling hook, and then you can sort of shoot your way around. Is pretty cool, but I just love going in these reactors, or like there's just something so dope about it.
yeah. And then this is where we find out that there's something weird going on with the Arbiters of Fate because Cesne had seen one, and that kind of threw the party for a loop that anyone besides them has been able to see it. But when they first get to the reactor, this is where we see the arbiters, the purple faced, I'll call them. There's like a purple orby glow in these particular arbiters, uh, and they're really letting on. It's like, that Sephiroth from the original game, like the way the remake ends. There's the big battle, the final battle with Sephiroth, and then he mentions like now fate has changed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're seeing like, okay, we're seeing the results of that, because clearly Sephiroth has some kind of pull or some kind of control over the arbiters. And then we're getting back to the into the reactor, and the like I said, the boys go through it, and then I don't remember. I don't. It's been so long. So something happens, and the women decide like, oh, we need to back them up or
Yeah,
something.
I think there was like an explosion or something.
Oh,
Something.
it's I think they saw the when they saw Shinra going in, right? They saw the Shinra planes going, and
Yep,
then
I think
thought,
that's it. Yeah, and then I think that's it.
yeah, because originally it's an earthquake, or some kind of like vibration or something that's like, oh, we need to check out the reactor. And then she mentions the arbiters. They're like, okay, yeah, we got to go. And then when they see the Shinra planes coming in, that's when they're like, oh, we got to get out there too. And this was an amazing boss fight.
Oh yeah,
when
yeah, super good.
when Scarlet gets in like the Iron Man suit or whatever it is, like that big robotic suit, and she starts dropping the monsters down on I guess the boys fight the monsters, and then the women fight Scarlet herself in the big robot costume,
In
and
the
that whole sequence is
Crimson
incredible.
Mare Mech 2 or Mark 2 or something.
Yeah, yeah, that scene was incredible. Like, it's just like everything about it. Like, the monster fight was amazing. This was actually when because that we were forced to use the different the different characters. I went into the boss fight. I ended up using Kate Barrett, and Cloud. And this is the first time I had used the synergy between Barrett and Kate, where Barrett sits on the mogul with Kate, and he's like shooting the beam, but they're just going in circles.
I haven't used that combo yet.
Yeah,
I'll have to mess with that.
it's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, epic fight and battle, right? And then all of a sudden some crazy stuff starts going down, right? I mean, I guess throughout the game, Cloud's sort of been having these, right, sort of like hallucinations, or just sort of, I guess, parts where he's falling, more victim to the Mako poisoning,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of Sephiroth's, grip, or I don't know
Taking
exactly
over.
how it's all working. Yeah, and Tifa jumps down there, and essentially he goes crazy, thinking Tifa is one of the bad guys, and
Well, that's after he butchers the Shinra soldiers,
Oh
and
yeah,
they're like
oh
covered in
yeah,
their blood.
yeah. I even forgot about that. Yeah, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh god, he's clearly not himself.
Yeah.
He gets into these trances, and yeah, she ends up in the live stream. And this is like you said, I think is where all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, yeah, the story's sort of popping off,
Yeah.
because in the live stream we're seeing the whispers, but we're also see it's like the dark whispers, the light whispers, and like the eternal battle. And you sort of we get to visually see like, oh, this is the battle like happening within the earth in the live stream, like what's going on. And like, just for her to be able to experience that, you know what I mean, was like, you know, interesting, but like good news to bring back, obviously, since she was able to be saved, luckily.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting twist on the original story because, again, memory is hazy, but I'm pretty sure the original Final Fantasy VII, the whole point of the game is that Sephiroth is trying to uh, kind of, I guess, insert himself into the live stream or kind of take over the live stream by using Meteor. I think the whole point is that Meteor is supposed to like create this wound in the earth that
He could penetrate.
Yeah, exactly. Like it opens up the life stream, and as the life stream is trying to repair the damage by meteor, he becomes one with the earth and takes it over, whatever. Along with Genova, I guess. But in this one, yeah, there's a bit of a difference because he's already in the live stream now. He's got these arbiters kind of on his side, and like you said, you can see like these white whispers that are fighting the Sephiroth whispers, and then there's the weapons with the big. So there's these animals with these massive materias that are kind of like swimming through the Mako of the world, and even they're trying to attack Sephiroth. Like it's like he's like a
Well, that's
virus
the weapon,
that they're
right?
trying to. Yeah, exactly. It's the weapon. So it's like it's almost like white blood cells fighting off a virus, a Sephiroth virus, and Tifa's witnessing it all inside this.
Poor gal.
Yeah, and then Sephiroth sees her, and again, like the whole you can see like throughout the game that Sephiroth is trying to control Cloud, and Tifa seems to be like the opposing force here, where whenever he gets too much control, Tifa's there to kind of bring Cloud back to reality, sort of thing. And yeah, so you see Sephiroth actually try to kill her with the Masamune and stabs that poor guardian right through the materia chest.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, that was a scary scene. I tell
Yeah.
you what.
Well, everything about like it was so cinematic. Like everything about it, like the Cloud's like face has blood dripping down it, and then he swipes at Tifa and almost cuts her in the exact same spot that Sephiroth. And again, you could tell that Sephiroth is the one controlling Cloud because he's like quoting things that Sephiroth has said.
And like movements too, yeah, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah, exactly. And well, like that whole scene where Cloud, Sephiroth controlling Cloud, and he swipes at her, like it's like cut straight out of
the original.
the original, like the reactor, the Nebel reactor, where he actually did almost kill her before. And yeah, and he even used that scar as the you don't have the scar. He keeps trying to tell Cloud that she doesn't have the scar, and she keeps
Yeah, what are you talking about, dude?
yeah, you're crazy, man, you're crazy.
He's just trying to get her to keep lifting that shirt.
Yeah,
Pervert.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so we see the whole scene, and then Sephiroth stabs the weapon, his weapon, into the weapon. But the material animal or whatever it is survives and brings Tifa back to the rest of the group, and then in one of the funnier scenes of the game,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so they bring Tifa back. I think she's like unconscious at this point, so they bring Tifa back to Cesne's hut or whatever to recuperate, and there's this nice moment between Tifa and Cloud where they're talking about their past and their future, I guess, to a certain extent, where I think this was where Tifa was like, they're even when we were kids, we weren't that close, or we didn't have moments like this or whatever. And then all of a sudden you hear Kate, I think it's Kate, who's like, kiss her, kiss her.
Well, I think they were like, because it was Kate and Yuffie, right? I believe
Yeah,
by the door. I think they were like, "Is he gonna kiss her?" I think they were talking to one another
yeah,
and just not being, at all.
they spoiled the moment.
Yeah, yeah. And then they open the door and they fall. Yeah, it's like, oh, like Saturday morning cartoon level.
Yeah. Oh, there are some great moments with the party in that, because like when you first get to the village and they split up. It's funny because Yuffie, there's like a little like living room in Cisne's apartment or hut or whatever, and Yuffie singing songs about being bored.
Yeah, to the beat of the like, yeah. I wanna go find some materia.
Yeah, yeah, it was, yeah, it's like a chocobo to the chocobo song, like it was.
She does that a lot. I've had
Yeah,
like different tunes and just, yeah, usually singing about how she's bored and wants to go find materia.
the voice actor for Yuffie must have just had a blast making this game, because there's so many great things like that throughout the game. Like,
Her character is really funny. Just so hell bent on getting that sweet materia.
yeah. Oh, and all the interactions with between Barrett and stuff too is hilarious. I don't know. It's that whole. It's kind of like you could take that moment out of the game and be like, this is kind of like the spirit of the game and why it's so good. Like from the beginning to the end of that whole reactor thing of just like how the battles and everything is so cinematic and the stories coming together, and then they have like like the party the composition of like how they get riffing on each other and having fun even after like such a crazy moment
Serious
where they
moment.
almost lose Tifa. Like it's just incredible.
Yeah, like you said, the game has range, absolutely. And like I like that they set that right off the bat, pretty much when like you start getting that first side quest for the. I always go back to the Grasslands proto relic quest with those goobers who are like,
Oh yeah,
I
from
don't
the
have the proto relic, and it's like shining behind his back, like
yeah.
yeah, I think that sort of set the tone. Like, okay, they're not going to be afraid to really lean into it and be goofy, which is awesome.
Where Chadley goes, this is strange. The proto-reg seems to be leaving your location. I wanted them to escape.
Honestly, just Chadley in general is a funny character, but I love the Moya or
May. I think it's
May.
May.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love their interactions as the game progresses. They keep getting like more snippy with one another.
yeah. He's getting angrier and angrier as the game goes on.
And
He's
she
like, I'm going
butts
to
in, and
reprogram you. This is ridiculous.
yeah, like you said, it just has great levity to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of story beats in this one. I feel like you said, it doesn't seem like there's as many side quests or there's plenty of things to find because you still have all your remnant waves and there's still proto relic quests.
The crazy chicken lady, though.
Oh yes, the crazy chicken lady.
That one,
So
I had to message you right after I finished that one. I was
yeah,
like, oh my goodness.
yeah. So this is a pretty wild quest that if you haven't done it and you're in Gongaga, you should really do this one. So this is a side quest. I'm pretty sure you pick it up off the board, like the
Yeah,
community
yep.
board.
It's the
Yeah,
community board.
yeah. And Red 13 makes a point of like wanting to do this one because there's like this old lady in the village and she has pet chickens and she has names for them and everything. And she's like, oh, Chuck and Chuck. I don't remember the actual names, but
My sweet babies, yeah.
yeah, my sweet babies have disappeared. And the quest itself is kind of irritating.
Oh,
because,
it's super annoying, yeah.
yeah.
Because you gotta essentially the chickens are like throughout the town, so they're not really that far from the where you gotta go. But you've got like a little like thing that makes noise. You gotta throw it on the ground, and then the duck walks towards it, or the chicken, and then
yeah.
you gotta like yoink it back.
Yeah.
So he can't catch it. But if you yoink it back too quick, then he'll get distracted. Now the good thing is he doesn't like reset automatically. He starts
Thank
walking.
God, eh?
So
Oh,
you could throw it again and get his attention. But yeah, definitely one of the more annoying ones. However, the payoff I'd say is worth it.
yes.
I don't know if you. I guess
No,
obviously
you go ahead and spoil it.
Yeah, we're gonna be spoiling this here, but ultimately you get all the chickens back, and the old sweet old lady's so happy, and she rewards you with some delicious fried chicken.
Yeah, some KFC.
Yeah, that she kills one of the chickens or whatever, and cooks it up for you right then and there. But she gives you like a crazy face too with it, and you're just like, oh, I thought these were like your sweet pets, And here you are, you're just like wrangling up her dinner ingredients.
And I feel so bad for Red 13 because he's so distraught. He's like,
he was doing it out of the kindness of his heart. Yeah,
it's like if I had just left them, they'd be free right now.
Yeah. Dude, Red 13 is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, he's one of those characters that I think from the original to here, it's just like the voice acting, like getting to just get the character more known. He's like one of my favorites.
Oh, I feel like everybody is like way developed over
more.
But I think in particular here, especially when you play remake and you just get him at the end, and then he doesn't really feel part of like a part of the party even in the remake at the end because he's not a playable character. He's just You
Yeah.
know, outside the party doing things, and he does
He's
make comments
support,
here and there, but now he really feels like a part of things. They've really done a great job of involving him in like all the storylines. Like he's always there. He's always got like good comments and stuff. Like there's a lot of levity with his character.
And he's fun to play with.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
said, he's not one I default. Like right now, I've been leaning heavy into Cloud, Tifa, Barrett. Because I like, to me, Barrett is way more fun to use than Aerith in terms of like a ranged player, you know?
yeah.
I guess Yuffie's cool, you know, that she's got some range stuff too. But Barrett, man, I've been sort of using him as my healer, and just like that overload is so nice to blast out. And then obviously, like between Cloud and Tifa, like they're super fun to me, both of them. I really should mess with like Kate Sith some more and whatnot. But I'd say that's honestly the worst part of this game, is like that you can only pick 3 at a time.
Yeah, paralyzed by
And
choice.
really only 2 at a time, you know?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, wow, Kate Sith, like, I like the character, but
Yeah, I
the
didn't love how he played. I
no, his
only
battle
dabbled
mechanics are
with it.
weird because the Moogle's not always there. Like you have to
Yeah,
attack
summon
first.
him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I used him very little. That's why I should give a more fair shake, I should say. But like I said, I mess with Yuffie, Red, and I like both of them. And then Aerith a little bit less. And then, yeah, Kate Sith would probably be my least favorite. But like I said, I also feel like I didn't really play too much there.
well, and it's funny they with Red and Aerith, their synergy attack is actually super powerful. I think it's called Planetary Roar, and
Ooh, that makes sense, because, yeah.
yeah, and I think she like throws them at the character, at the bad guy, almost very, like Final Fantasy VIII style, where Renoa would launch. What's it? You could change the dog's name, and I always change it to my dog's name in the game. And now I can. Angelo. When Renoa would like fire Angelo at the, it was very reminiscent of that to me. I was getting that FF8 vibes from that synergy attack.
Yeah, those synergies are always fun to watch.
Yeah. But I like in this one. So you had I know Casey, you had just gone back to finish up the Proto Relic quests right before we were recording tonight. I really like those ones because not only does it not have silly mini games that can be annoying sometimes, but in this one you get to fight some pretty fun battles. But then you also get, it's not a ton of backstory about Cisne, but I love that it's still connected to her.
And you become an honorary Turk.
That's right.
Yeah, I felt like this was good. Yeah, it was sort of like no BS Proto Relic mission. I've enjoyed most of the mini games we've been playing along the way. You know, there's been maybe 1 or 2 where it's like not as good as other ones, but this one, yeah, it was just sort of like, hey, you're going into the Shinra simulation to battle. You know, I guess sort of, you know, yeah, you get the backstory. The Turks talking sort of like, hey, this is the training we go through. You got to be tough. You know, don't be afraid to sever ties. You know, this, that, and the other thing. And you essentially just go in there and fight some enemies. And, you know, like you said, you get some story. And then they give you a little reward chest for beating each mission, which was nice there. But yeah, it was nice because it was just sort of straightforward and to the business. You know what I mean? Which, after dealing with some of those other mini games, it's like it was a breath of fresh air.
You know what's funny about Rebirth is the game has convinced me to actually like the Turks.
Yeah, it is funny. Yeah, they're more mysterious, I guess, in the first game, right? And
Yeah.
like just seem like sort of like dicks, but yeah, here you sort of get to
They're not as villainous in this game to me.
yeah, they're just sort of like, oh, we're just doing our job, dude.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they send us out here, man. This is what we got to do to get our paycheck.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I can't spoil it, but later in the game, it's hardcore that.
Oh,
where,
really?
where they're just really like, oh my god, we got to do this. Like, especially Elena, like she gets really pissed.
Yeah, she definitely seems like a bit of a hothead.
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a funny moment in there where it's where the rest of them are like, this is a job, and Elena's like, no, this is BS.
Yeah.
But yeah, like between stuff like I don't know, I feel like they've really humanized the Turks in this game. Like between like the bald head bar in
You
Junon
mean
for
my
Rude.
homeland?
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And yeah, even Elena is hilarious. Like where she's getting like really, like you said, she's a hothead
Flustered.
and she has all these moments. But then even Cesne, like because she appears at the end of the final proto relic. I mean, she doesn't really give you much information. Like it's clear. Oh, like the computer, I guess, scans her and like confirms that she's a Turk or was a Turk or whatever. And the party's like, "What's going on?" And then Cesne's like,
Don't
"Just get
worry
out of
about
here,
it.
guys."
Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
very much.
Scram.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, but yeah, it just feels like. I mean, they're supposed to be villains and stuff because they're part of Shinra, but I still don't. There's a whole lot more. I don't know if
Not as
sympathy or
black
compassion
and
is.
white now, you know.
Yeah, like I certainly enjoy their presence way more than before.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and always even in the original one, like there was still like a little bit of that, like maybe I don't really hate these guys, you know what I mean? Like what's his face? Oh, like Rude, like you know what I mean? Like there was always something to him where it's like, well, like yeah, it doesn't seem like he's like completely nefarious, you know what I mean? Like it's just like oh yeah, he's just sort of a down to business kind of guy, and this is what he's got to do, you know.
Well, even like saying like Aerith kind of like it's clear that Aerith kind of likes him, like they get along or whatever.
And he
And
likes Tifa, right?
oh yeah, yeah. So they're yeah.
Well, that's in the original, right? Like he won't attack her in
Oh, I
battle.
think is it saying that won't or is it? I think it's Rude that won't
Yeah,
attack her
yeah,
in the
it's
original,
rude.
right?
Yeah, rude.
Yeah. And then yeah, Reno, not so much in the game so far. That's what I'll say. But yeah, it's still. He'll. I guess I'll just leave it at that.
We'll talk about that in a future episode, I'm sure.
Yeah. Did you finish the Fiends quest?
I have one left.
Oh, so you have like the Marlboro left?
Well,
They get, or
now
did you fight the Marlboro? He's like the big boss at the end, like the last fiend.
I'm trying to think. I don't. That might not be. That might be one that I have not done yet. So I've got three left. I'm pretty sure one is like a standard enemy fight. You know,
Yeah,
enemy intel. One is I can't remember. And then I'm assuming the last one might be the big bad.
yeah, because the Marlboro was he was a pain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is you have to beat him in a certain amount of time. Because when you get so the Marlboro has like the unique ability like the bad breath attack,
Hmm.
which like kind of poisons the air. But when you get him down to I think like 20 or 15% HP, he does this bad breath that never leaves. So so it's like a countdown basically because
Oh, and enrage essentially.
yeah, so all the characters are just losing HP, and it's like, okay, you either defeat him before you die or you die. Like,
Yeah, erase race. Yep.
yeah. It took me a few goes to get that one done. I guess the trick that I to making that go fit quicker that I didn't get the first time was I guess there's an opportunity to attack his mouth at some point, and if you break the mouth, then I guess
Staggers him
it's
probably.
yeah, and it makes the bad breath. I don't know if like it reduces the damage, I guess, or something. It buys you more time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so if you haven't done it yet,
Duly noted.
yeah, attack the mouth when you have the opportunity early on. Any other specific things in Gongaga that jumps out to you?
Well, I mean, maybe the best part of the game, which is our last bullet note here, but I don't know if you wanted to get
Yeah.
into some other anything else before that point.
Well, it's
Yeah.
funny. There is one. There's one thing in Gongaga, but the problem is that it's not until the end point of the game
Oh, when you
is
revisit.
yeah, because there's I'm assuming you've been keeping up with the Queen's Blood.
Yes, I'm at the point I need to go back to. I think the Mount Corel area. It's like Wise version 3
Oh,
something or
you're
another.
fighting the AI robot again in the
Yeah,
it
so I
yeah.
believe that's my next battle.
Yeah, he's in the low or he's in like the jail area underneath Golden Saucer with Gus.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I need to go. Well, I was actually, so I went to Cosmo Canyon, and like I got up to the last part where it's like, hey, jump in the tiny Bronco. But I was like, I don't know if that's gonna like cue me into like automatically starting the next zone or not. So I was afraid to jump in the plane for a while. It didn't.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
now I'm probably like I'm gonna wrap up Gongaga and then probably go do that Queen's Blood match and then
And
jump
then yeah.
back to main story.
Yeah, I guess I'll save it for a future episode because it does happen
Yeah,
later on. But yeah, the finale of Queen's Blood is in an area in Gongaga, and
gotcha.
this
Okay.
that'll be like the tease, I guess. So I'm looking forward to that. Talk
Ooh,
about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Queen's Blood, so good. I feel like too, like it's funny, you know, in the beginning you have a bunch of cards with Queen's Blood and you're like, I don't know what cards to use, like and then like it's just so natural for or at least for me this game it felt so natural like building a deck because it was just like oh I like anytime I get this card I'm like ugh and I never use it so like let's just freaking axe it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just by playing, I feel like I've actually got a pretty strong deck now where, in the beginning I sort of had to brute force sometimes where, I'd be like, oh, I like 5 times I had to restart. But now I feel like most of the times I'm either winning on the first one or like, maybe it's like a real tight game and I have to restart it once. But yeah, it's never, there's nothing better going to a new spot. And be like, oh, let me buy that deck of cards from the store, baby. Let's go.
Oh, the I don't know if I told you the so one thing I discovered at the end of the game, and I'm pretty sure you can do it now though, is that each time you defeat one of the what did they call them in this game? The summons, like like the I think
And
Kujata was
Chadley's thing.
yeah the chat yeah like when you earn the summon like Ifrit or Ramu or whatever.
Yeah, just the summon battles, whatever. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know if
so
they have a specific
once
name.
you've defeated them and they become one of your summons, you can go back to the. Remember in grass in the grasslands, there's the trader, like the guy.
Yeah, right outside of Column, I believe, right to the
That's
east.
right. Yeah, he's in like a building on his own. He sells the card for those summons. Like so if you've defeated like Phoenix, for example, like I think Phoenix was a Junon, the Junon summon. So once you defeated Phoenix, you can go back to that guy, and he'll have the Phoenix card that you can buy,
Oh, that's nice.
and those cards are good. Like
I have Titan. I believe you get that one early on, and that
yeah,
one's like a pretty fat card that I like a lot. So I can
yeah,
imagine that some of it would be good,
yeah.
wise to get some of the other ones. I'll have to double back.
Yeah, because when I was like right before I went to the final area, that character kind of popped in my head. I'm like, oh, I haven't talked to that guy for the
Yeah, I
longest
wonder if he
time.
gets new cards in.
Well, that's the thing is like, why didn't he come back into the story? You would think like he seemed like he was it
The
would
know
come up.
all, yeah, the know all of
Yeah.
the Queen's Blood game.
So I went and talked to him just to see what was going on, and he didn't. There wasn't really anything story wise, but when I went to his inventory,
Yeah, he
it
just
was
had
all these
some
summon
fat
cards in there,
card.
and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, just buy them all, and they weren't expensive or anything either. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to double back for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, it's nice that with the tiny Bronco, it's like whoop, which yeah, you get at the very end of Gongaga, so that's not a complete spoiler.
yeah, that's right.
Which yeah, we finally get to meet my favorite character, one of them.
The old man.
Ooh wee, yeah, yeah. He doesn't look quite as old.
No, but I saw a thing from Square Enix that So he is the canonical 36-year-old that they from I still remember the playing the original game, and he's talking about how old he is, and then it's like casually mentioned throughout the game that he's like 36. I'm like, 36? This guy dude looks like he's 50.
This man's so jaded for a 36-year-old.
Yeah. But yeah, the I guess the so he's still kind of like that bombastic, like larger than life character, but he's when you first meet him in Rebirth, he's certainly like he doesn't join the party. He's
He's your pilot, you
he's
know.
your pilot,
Yeah,
and
he
he's
definitely has. Yeah, seems more tame, right? In like, hey, this is a business relationship, you know, where it's like, hey, you're calling on me, and I'm flying you somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten those dynamics where, like, you know, we're team members and, you know, traveling together.
Yeah, no Rocket Town. He is not sitting in a rusted out space shuttle.
I want to see Rocket Town so bad, dude.
Yeah. Well, there was such like between I can't remember. There was like the scientist woman
His wife
and
or girlfriend,
yeah, or the sort of like quasi girlfriend. I don't know if we
the
necessarily.
one that saved his damn life, and he got all angry at her.
Yeah, that's right. I'm hoping that comes up later on, and it would make sense that they would save that.
Shara,
Oh,
Shara,
okay,
right?
this
Shera.
this sounds
Shira.
familiar. Yeah, it would make sense that they would save that for the third game because they're it seems like Sid will probably have a much bigger role in the third game. It's kind of similar in the sense of like the way Red 13 was introduced in remake, where like he's
Yeah, a
introduced, but
little
he's not
tease.
exactly in the party, and so you'll probably get to use him next game or something.
Yeah, and I know we talked about this and like, or I had mentioned it to you, like, right, we got to see Yuffie in a DLC early, and then now she's, you know, part of the party,
Yeah,
you know. So I don't know if Sid will be that guy, you know, moving into a potential DLC. Obviously, there's another character in the original game that we get to play, Vincent, right? So he
yeah.
could potentially, if they're going the DLC route with a new character, I feel like that's a really good selling point for DLC. So I hope,
Dirge Cerberus remake.
yeah,
That's the DLC.
yeah. All right. Here's my money.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, it's definitely awesome to get to see Sid. You know what he looks like and get him in game here. But yeah, I have a feeling he'll be a more of a leading role for sure in the final leg of this ginormous remake. That's just amazing.
Yeah, so that's basically how the region ends. Is that they, you get to the airstrip, you do the smoke, you create a smoke that alerts Sid
A
that
little
you want to get
flare.
picked up. Yeah, and then they let you. Now I don't know how much they actually let you. I know you can sort of control the little Bronco.
Yeah, it felt on we like I'm sure if you like held left, it would probably would have been like playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with the little assistant thing on where it just
Yeah.
yoinks you right back to the middle.
Yeah, like so they let you fly a little bit, but yeah, like you said, I'm pretty sure if you go too far left or right, you're gonna get pushed back to it. It felt like it was on the rails for sure.
Yeah, do they let you open it up later, or does it seem like you're always sort of on rails?
So they open it up, but not in the way you think.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
It looks like the original like Final Fantasy like 6 map, you know what I mean, like a sprite you're just
oh
floating over. Almost.
no, not exactly. It's I don't know. We'll save that for a later episode. Maybe I'll tell you off air if you really want to know. But
Yeah, we'll let it be surprised.
yeah, yeah, I was certainly surprised when the thing happened, and then it was something. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I'll say that it was a fun experience.
Yeah. Well, I've got no doubt with the way this game's been going overall. So
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like I'm not going to spoil anything beyond Gungaga because that's what our episode was based on. But I, as someone who has finished the game, what I will say is that I did not end disappointed. It was a thrill ride from the beginning, and it was a thrill ride to the end. So I'm really enjoying going through each region. Like you said, it's funny. Like we're gonna play so many games over the next how many years, and I don't know about everybody else, but the older I get, the less my brain holds. So to be able to have these to listen back to one day to relive all these fun memories, I think is going to be quite quite useful, and I'm going to be looking forward to it one day.
Yeah, and I obviously, like, talking about a game afterwards is going to help keep the memories too. That's why we always go back to our Xenoblade 2, right, with our big epic chats. Not only was the game awesome, but it was awesome to, like, just have someone to oh crap, did you see that? Or oh dang, this, that, and that. I'm a little behind here on Final Fantasy VII compared to you were, but yeah, it's been fun to be able to just, especially this game breaks up so nicely with each zone to really be like, hey, we can just hunker in, zone in, pun intended there, I guess, or unintended, I should say, zone in on each zone and really sort of check out what our thoughts were and all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, and I don't know about you, but I'm definitely too old for a 4-hour podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
those days are long gone. I think.
Yeah. You get to an hour these days, it's all right. We better start wrapping it up.
Yeah, it's getting late. I'm getting tired.
Yeah, we got to go play some more Final Fantasy before bed.
That's right. I can't get to sleep unless I get in some time.
Yeah, get a couple Queen's Blood matches in before bed. Otherwise, I don't sleep right.
Yep. Well, I think that we'll probably wrap up our Gongaga Region episode.
You guys are going to be in for a treat next episode. We cover Cosmo Canyon. Oh baby, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's a good one.
Yeah, that'll be. So what we got left? We got Cosmo, and then we'll have the Nebel region, and then I guess it'll be a wrap up episode after that. At that point.
So yeah, 1, 2, 3 more.
Yeah, 3 more.
Yeah, now, like a final / overall thoughts.
Yeah. I would say like maybe the first half hour will be on the finale, and then we'll
bring it all half hour. Home,
bring it all home. But these will not be the next 3 episodes.
Well, I can guarantee that because I'm almost positive I won't get all those done. We could do Cosmo Canyon. We could record it any time and save it for a couple weeks. But
yeah, we have to put a little bit of oxygen in between these episodes because this is a meaty game. So, like you said, a lot of people are enjoying it, but some are taking it a little bit, taking their time with it, which is great. And that's one of the big reasons why we've been splitting it up over these episodes too, is just to kind of let people catch up and listen and follow along, I guess. Any final thoughts on the region or?
Yeah, I guess.
Game? I don't know if we talked about. We've learned, or Square Enix has told us that the third one's going to be in 2027. I don't know if we talked about that on the podcast either.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, a 3-year turnaround sounds dang good to me.
Yep.
Well, then it's like, at what point do you play them all in succession? I played 300 hours of Final Fantasy and it was amazing. Yeah, no, I that's great news. I like that. Even if it's delayed to 2028, right? Another 4 years to, like, if we could get a game of similar quality to this in 4 years, sign me up,
Probably did, like you said, DLC and like maybe 6 months or a year from now, probably too.
And then they'll port it to the PC and stuff. Yeah, there'll be an intergrade style, release. I'm sure they'll get their money's worth out of this. But yeah, as far as the Gongaga region goes, yeah, visually really awesome. It's got some cool lore. I really like as you unlock the life springs that you get the intel about the regions and like how it was so sort of isolated that Shinra really didn't mess around with them too much, like after that reactor sort of went down.
Mm-hmm.
and all that good stuff. So they were sort of isolated from a lot of the bad stuff. But yeah, it does get a little frustrating at times with the
Damn
the
mushrooms.
mushrooms bouncing around and trying to navigate. I'd say don't be afraid to look it up.
Yeah.
If you're really struggling, that's what I did with the proto. I couldn't get to the one. I was like, "What the heck am I doing wrong?" And then I finally looked it up, and it was rather easy. But I was just looking at the map. I was attacking it from the wrong way, essentially, But yeah, so a little frustrating at times, but still really a fun region with a lot of good in it.
Yeah, I agree. It was a very memorable area, and but frustrating.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's this game is really amazing all around. But yeah, there are definitely some things with the traversal and exploration at times that can be a little finicky and annoying. But overall, a drop in the bucket.
Yep. Well, I guess we've hit an hour, so it's the perfect time to wrap this up. And yeah, so we'll leave it at that. And I couldn't even tell you what we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants right now on what to play next.
Yeah, you've been messing a little bit with Unicorn Overlord, right? But
Yeah,
not really grabbing you a hundy.
yeah. It's just I don't know. It's probably the best tactics game I've played, but I'm just not that big of a tactics fan, I
Yeah,
guess. Like it seems like I'm doing more math than I'm having fun.
gotcha. Yeah,
So
taxes are over. I don't want to crunch numbers.
yeah, well, and it's funny. So I'm still in the first region of the game. I'm probably a good chunk in though. I'm probably like 12-ish hours into the game at this point, and I've gotten to one area where there's like these particular enemies, and now I'm like having to go in and actually tinker with the like before. I was just kind of going with like the default tactics. Like they're like, oh well, you have like a knight and a thief and an archer, and I'm like, okay, I'll just put them in the party, and then they'll do their thing, and I'll do the attacks. But now I actually have to go in and be like, okay, well now I got to tell the archer when the HP is at this level, he's got to do this thing, and then he's got
Oh,
to do
it's
this.
like gambits and freaking whatever.
Yeah, it's like FF12 gambits all over again, and now I'm like, oh my god, like so I'm getting into that, and I'm getting a little frustrated. And then the thing that really set me off was so I was in this really hard fight, and I like screwed around with all these different characters to the point where I just like messed up all their gambits, but it got me the win. But then there's like I can't find the reset button for the tactics.
Oh no! So you got like weird tactics still.
Yeah, and they're like specifically for like this one type of enemy, and now I'm like all my best people have these stupid tactics, and I'm like, oh god, there's got to be a default here somewhere. So that'll be the rest of my night is trying to figure out how to get their defaults back.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So now, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. This could be the end of my unicorn
and
overload
that's how we
playthrough.
started Persona 3.
Yeah, well, I've got it on my Xbox. It's downloaded. It's installed. And I'm literally sitting next to it, thinking like maybe I'll just play that instead.
Well, I could. We know that's not a bad game, so
Yeah, and I got about 80% of the way through P3 portable, so I need to see the end of that game. So
oh, you never beat it. Okay, yeah.
no, I got way further than I should. Like I shouldn't have stopped where I did, but I got distracted by whatever the new hotness was at the time.
I was gonna say 80% is like 80 hours.
Yeah, I played a lot. Yeah, so I gotta finish it. Although I'll be starting
no better
fresh
way
now.
to start from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Cool. Well, I want to thank you, Casey, for joining me on this one. You
Always,
can check out Casey on his podcast. There was Talk Nintendo podcast as well.
Yep, coming up on 400 soon.
400.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also at some point we're going to be doing a Link Between World Dirty Mage crossover.
Yeah. So
we need to hash out deets, but yeah.
Hopefully you got everyone's got their 3DS cartridge for that because you're not buying that game anymore.
Oh, is it expensive?
Well, it's just I just mean in like
digitally, gotcha.
Yeah, digitally. Yeah, you got to find your cartridge now.
Yep. It's better off anyway to Zelda games, you want those on cartridges.
Yeah, you never know. Something could happen to your 3DS one day, and that's it. So, cool.
That's all she wrote.
Alrighty, well, we'll see everyone at whatever our next podcast is about.
Whatever we're talking about next time, but we promise it won't be Cosmo Canyon.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like, cut scene.
Yeah, mostly,
welcome.
Mostly promising.
We're talking about Cosmo Canyon today.
Yeah. Just ignore that the outro on the final.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Yeah. Alright, thanks for listening.
Adios.